Think for a moment about the idea of being magnetic to miracles. You might picture miracles as rare, extraordinary events reserved for a chosen few. But I tell you, miracles are actually the natural state of existence, and you hold the power to draw them continuously into your life simply by assuming the state of being magnetic to them. But what does it truly mean to act as though you're magnetic to miracles? It isn't about pretending or wishing. It's a state of consciousness, a shift in the very core of your being that aligns you with the creative power of the universe. It's about recognizing that your consciousness, your own awareness of being magnetic to miracles, is the only reality, and that a profound shift in this awareness can and will transform your entire world. Let's dig deeper into this profound truth. Your outer world, every experience you have, every circumstance you run into, is nothing more than a reflection of your inner world, your own self-concept. And that self-concept can be radically transformed by assuming the state of being magnetic to miracles. Once you understand this, truly understand it, you realize that by deliberately choosing and vividly imagining yourself as someone who naturally draws miracles into their life, you're actively creating a new reality that will unfold in your own experience. This understanding matters enormously because it flips the entire way you approach life. You stop being a helpless being at the mercy of chance and circumstance, hoping for the occasional miracle. Instead, you become the active creator of your own reality, knowing that as you assume the state of being magnetic to miracles, the universe has no choice but to rearrange itself to match this new inner assumption. But how, you might ask? Does someone actually act as though they're magnetic to miracles? The answer lies in the creative power of your own wonderful human imagination, combined with the intensity of your feeling and belief, because your imagination isn't a mere fantasy generator, and your feelings aren't just reactions to outside stimuli. Together, they form the actual workshop where reality gets forged. Let's take a moment to really understand this. Your subconscious mind, one with the universal creative force, doesn't distinguish between what you vividly imagine and feel as true and what you're actually experiencing in the outer world. It accepts as true whatever you feel to be true in your imaginal acts. And once it accepts an idea as true, it moves forward to bring that idea into manifestation in your physical reality, no matter how long that takes in clock time. So when you act as though you're magnetic to miracles, when you drift off to sleep, in the absolute conviction that you're someone who naturally attracts miraculous experiences, you're not engaging in wishful thinking or self-deception. You're actively creating your new reality from within. You're aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe, letting it work both through you and for you, to bring miracles into your life. This, dear listeners, is the essence of acting as though you're magnetic to miracles. It's about recognizing that the power to shape your reality lives inside you, waiting to be expressed through conscious imaginal acts. It's about understanding that your outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner self-concept, which can be radically transformed by assuming the state of being naturally magnetic to miracles. Consider the biblical line, "All things are possible to him that believeth." This isn't just a poetic flourish or a vague spiritual sentiment. It's a statement of cosmic law, an invitation to recognize the power of your assumed state. Once you truly embody the state of being magnetic to miracles, once you feel its reality in every fiber of your being, you're already changed in that very moment. The outer manifestation of miracles might take time to catch up, but the inner transformation is instantaneous. But let me be clear, acting as though you're magnetic to miracles isn't about forced visualizations or strained affirmations. It's about total immersion in the feeling of being someone who naturally attracts miraculous experiences. Once you truly embody this practice, you naturally take on the thoughts, feelings, and inner conversations of a person who is magnetic to miracles. You go to sleep not as someone struggling for the occasional lucky break, but as someone living in a constant state of miraculous unfolding. Let's explore this further with an example. Picture someone who's always felt life is a constant struggle, that miracles are rare and happen to other people. For years, their inner dialogue has been full of doubt and limitation. Now imagine this person deciding to act as though they are magnetic to miracles. As they lie in bed, they immerse themselves in the feeling of being someone who naturally attracts miraculous experiences. They feel the joy, the wonder, the gratitude of someone whose life overflows with constant miracles. They let this feeling soak into every cell of their being. They fall asleep in this state, carrying it right into their dreams. When they wake up, something has shifted. They may not see immediate external changes, but internally, they're no longer the same person. They've experienced the reality of being magnetic to miracles, and this new self-concept starts reshaping their outer world. In the days and weeks that follow, they find themselves naturally acting with more openness and expectancy. They notice synchronicities where they once would have seen mere coincidence. They pursue opportunities they'd once have considered out of reach, and as they do, their outer world begins reflecting this new inner state. Miraculous occurrences start showing up more often. Unexpected solutions appear. Their entire life begins transforming, all stemming from acting as though they're magnetic to miracles. This principle applies across every area of your life. Whether you're after miracles in your career, relationships, health, or anywhere else, the key is to assume the state of being magnetic to miracles across the board. Feel the reality of being someone whose life is filled with constant miraculous unfoldings. Fall asleep in that state, knowing that as you do, you're planting a seed in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind that must grow into your outer reality. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, can simply acting as though I'm magnetic to miracles really make that much of a difference? Surely miracles are rare and beyond our control. And to this I say, miracles are exactly as common or as rare as you assume them to be. In the realm of consciousness, where all creation actually happens, there is only the eternal now. Acting as though you're magnetic to miracles can genuinely reshape your entire future, because it plants the seed of a new self-concept that will inevitably grow into manifestation. Remember, the outer world is dead. It has no life of its own. It's your consciousness, your self-concept, that gives your experiences their life. When you act as though you're magnetic to miracles, you're breathing life into a brand new reality. You're setting a series of events into motion that must culminate in the outer expression of this new inner state. This, dear friends, is the true secret to becoming magnetic to miracles. It's about aligning your entire being with a new self-concept, recognizing that this new self-concept is seeking expression through you and allowing it to flow into your experience through the power of your focused imagination and unwavering belief. But let me warn you, this shift in consciousness isn't always easy. The old habits of thought and feeling, the familiar self-concept you've held onto for so long, may try to reassert themselves. As you lie in bed, trying to embody the state of being magnetic to miracles, doubts may creep in. The voice of your old self might try convincing you that miracles are impossible, that you're only fooling yourself. When that happens, don't fight these thoughts. Simply observe them, acknowledge them, and gently return to the feeling of being magnetic to miracles. Because the battle isn't won by fighting against what you don't want to be. It's won by persistently embodying what you do want to be. This persistence, this unwavering commitment to holding your new state of being, magnetic to miracles even in the face of doubt and contrary evidence, is what actually lets you transform your life. Think of it like tuning an old radio. When you're trying to hear one particular station, you don't focus on eliminating every other station. You simply tune into the frequency you want. In the same way, you don't need to fight against your current reality or forcefully shove away doubts and fears. You simply need to tune yourself to the frequency of being magnetic to miracles, to align your whole consciousness with the person who naturally attracts miraculous experiences. This tuning happens through your focused imagination and your ability to generate and sustain the feeling of being magnetic to miracles. Your imagination is the dial that lets you tune into different frequencies of experience. As you use your imagination to fully embody the state of being magnetic to miracles, as you feel the reality of being this version of yourself, you're tuning yourself to that exact frequency, letting the matching experiences flow into your life. But remember, friends, while the inner transformation can happen instantly, the moment you assume this new state, the full manifestation of miracles in your outer world may take time. The seed planted by acting as though you're magnetic to miracles will grow, but it has to move through its own natural stages of development. Don't get discouraged if you don't see immediate dramatic changes in your outer circumstances. Know that the moment you succeeded in fully embodying the state of being magnetic to miracles, change became inevitable. As you keep holding this new state in your daily life, you'll find your perception of yourself and your world starting to shift. What once looked like ordinary coincidences now appear as miracles. Challenges become opportunities for miraculous solutions. You begin seeing yourself as the empowered, miracle-attracting being you imagined yourself to be. Now, some of you might be wondering, how can I make sure I keep holding this state of being magnetic to miracles? How do I keep from slipping back into old patterns of thinking and feeling that might repel miracles? To this I say, the power of your assumed state lies not just in the intensity of the experience, but in the knowing it brings. Once you've experienced the reality of being magnetic to miracles, even just in your imagination, you've tasted the truth of your own divine nature. This knowing becomes an anchor, a reference point you can always return to. In the days and weeks that follow, as you begin this practice of acting as though you're magnetic to miracles, you might face moments of doubt or difficulty. In these moments, recall the feeling of that state. Remember the reality of being someone who naturally attracts miracles. Let that memory, that knowing guide you back to your new state of being. Because having experienced it once, you can experience it again and again, each time strengthening your new self-concept. The key is making your imaginal experience of being magnetic to miracles as real and vivid as you possibly can. Engage every sense. As you lie in bed, preparing for sleep, see yourself as the person who naturally attracts miracles. Hear the amazement in people's voices as they witness the miracles unfolding in your life. Feel the joy, the wonder, the gratitude of being someone whose life is filled with constant miraculous experiences. Make it so real that your rational mind can't tell the difference between this imaginal act and physical reality. But here's a crucial point, friends. The goal isn't to imagine specific miraculous events. The goal is to embody the essence of being magnetic to miracles. Because it's this state of being that's the actual attractor of miraculous experiences. Let me illustrate this with an example. Instead of imagining one specific miraculous event, like winning the lottery or spontaneously healing from an illness, embody the state of being someone who naturally attracts miracles across every area of life. Feel the confidence, the expectancy, the joy that comes with this state. See yourself moving through life wrapped in an aura of miraculous potential. Hear yourself speaking words of gratitude for the constant flow of miracles in your life. By focusing on the state of being magnetic to miracles, rather than fixating on specific outcomes, you let the universe bring miracles to you in ways that might far exceed anything you could have specifically imagined. You open yourself to possibilities beyond what your current mindset could ever conceive. This is the true art of acting as though you're magnetic to miracles. It isn't about forcing yourself to believe in specific miraculous events. It's about aligning your entire being with the truth of your divine nature as a miracle-attracting being, your oneness with the creative power of the universe. It's about spending each day fully embodying the highest vision of who you truly are, a being naturally magnetic to miracles. As you practice this, you might find your outer world starting to shift in subtle ways. Maybe you start noticing more synchronicities in your daily life, or find yourself naturally making choices that lead to unexpected positive outcomes, or opportunities that feel almost miraculous start appearing out of nowhere. These are all signs that your inner transformation, sparked by acting as though you're magnetic to miracles, is creating ripples through your outer reality. Don't dismiss these small miracles. Celebrate them. See them as confirmation that the law is working, that your assumed state is taking root. But don't become attached to them, and don't anxiously go hunting for them. Simply acknowledge them with gratitude, and keep living from your state of being magnetic to miracles. As you persist with this practice, larger miracles will begin manifesting. You may find yourself naturally attracting experiences that feel truly miraculous. You may notice problems that once seemed insurmountable getting solved in unexpected and wonderful ways. You may reach goals you once thought impossible, with an ease that feels almost miraculous. And as you keep holding the state of being magnetic to miracles, you'll discover life becoming an exciting adventure of ever-expanding wonder and possibility. But remember, the outer manifestation of miracles was never the ultimate goal. The goal is the state of being from which all miraculous experiences naturally flow. This is a crucial point, friends. When you genuinely transform by acting as though you're magnetic to miracles, when you're fully living from this new state of being, you no longer need external miracles to confirm your state. You're already whole, already complete, in your own knowing that you're a being who naturally attracts miracles. And paradoxically, it's precisely in this state of inner assurance that you're most likely to experience a life filled with constant miraculous unfoldings. Now, some of you might be thinking, but what about action? Don't we need to actually do things in the physical world to bring miracles about? And to this I say, yes, action is definitely part of the process, but it's inspired action, not anxious doing. When you're living from the state of being magnetic to miracles, ideas and opportunities will naturally present themselves to you. You'll feel inspired to take certain actions, to move in certain directions. These actions won't feel like struggle or effort. They'll feel natural, joyful, almost effortless. They'll be the natural outgrowth of your new state of being. This is the real difference between trying to make miracles happen and simply allowing them to happen. When you're straining to force miracles, action feels stressful, born out of fear and doubt. When you're genuinely embodying the state of being magnetic to miracles, actions flow naturally out of your aligned state, guided by an inner wisdom that already knows exactly how to bring the manifestation of miracles into your life. Consider a flower blooming. A flower doesn't strain to open its petals. It doesn't force itself to grow. It simply unfolds naturally, expressing its innate beauty. You, dear listeners, are no different. When you act as though you're magnetic to miracles, you let your life unfold naturally and beautifully, expressing the infinite potential for miracles that is your birthright. But let me be clear, this state of allowing isn't passive. It requires actively using your imagination, deliberately and consistently embodying the state of being magnetic to miracles. It requires faith, not blind faith in some external force, but faith in the creative power of your own consciousness and your ability to attract miracles through your assumed state. This faith isn't about believing miracles will show up someday, off in the future. It's about knowing that you're magnetic to miracles right now, in this very moment, and that your outer world must eventually conform to this new inner reality. As you cultivate this faith, as you persist in acting as though you're magnetic to miracles, you'll start seeing evidence of miracles manifesting in your outer world. These signs might start small: an unexpected compliment, a sudden solution to a nagging problem, a chance encounter that leads to a wonderful opportunity, a sudden insight that changes everything. Don't dismiss these signs, no matter how small they seem, because they're confirmation that your inner transformation, sparked by acting as though you're magnetic to miracles, really is shaping your outer reality. They're breadcrumbs, leading you toward the full realization of the miraculous life you're creating. As we near the end of our discussion, I want to address a common concern that comes up when people first encounter this teaching. Many worry that focusing on attracting miracles might somehow make them selfish or disconnected from other people. But I assure you, friends, the exact opposite is true. Once you truly understand the principle of being magnetic to miracles, you realize you're never separate from anyone else. As you elevate your own consciousness through your assumed state, you're elevating the consciousness of everyone. Your personal miracles, far from cutting you off from others, actually expand the field of possibility for everyone. And when you're operating from a place of being magnetic to miracles, you naturally have more to give the people around you. You become a beacon of possibility, a living example of consciousness's power to reshape reality. Your miracles create a ripple effect, touching the lives of everyone you meet with your newfound energy, wonder, and joy. This is the real gift of acting as though you're magnetic to miracles. It isn't just about improving your own individual circumstances, though that will absolutely happen too. It's about aligning yourself with the fundamental nature of the universe, which is boundless potential and endless creation. It's about recognizing your own divine nature and letting it express itself fully through you. In this state of alignment, of living from being magnetic to miracles, you become a channel for the most beautiful expressions of life. Ideas flow to you effortlessly. Opportunities present themselves naturally. The right people and circumstances appear in your life at exactly the right moment. This is the magic of living from your transformed state of being. But remember, this magic isn't something external to you. It isn't some cosmic force you need to appease or manipulate. It's simply the natural expression of your own consciousness, once it's aligned with the truth of your own being. You are the power. You are the magic. You are the one who transformed yourself by acting as though you're magnetic to miracles. As our time together draws to a close, I want to leave you with one final thought. The principle we've explored tonight, acting as though you're magnetic to miracles, isn't just a technique for attracting good fortune. It's about recognizing your true nature as a divine, creative being. It's about aligning your entire being with the fundamental truth of who you are, and letting your grandest expression flow through you. So, dear friends, as you leave here tonight, I urge you to embrace this principle with your whole heart. Don't treat it as a technique you apply once in a while. Treat it as a way of life you live continuously. Use your mighty imagination to fully immerse yourself in the state of being magnetic to miracles. Feel how natural it is to be the miracle-attracting being you truly are. Live from this state, persist in this knowing, and watch as your world rearranges itself to match your inner transformation, bringing forth a life filled with constant miracles and wonder. This is Neville Lectures. I'll see you in the next video.